Step number 1, professional greeting and walkthrough. When you get to a job, don't just start doing the work, greet the customer, and basically what you're gonna wanna do is be warm with professionalism, confirm the scope of work that you're gonna be doing. Are we doing the windows inside and out? Are we doing just the exterior? What are we doing just to confirm? And then the last thing, document and just note any pre-existing damage on the property. Step number 2, equipment unloading and setup. Open the van and unload our water-fed filter, our water-fed pole, our squeegees, our rags, everything like that. Get it set up. The setup for a water-fed pole, basically we filter water, we connect it from the hose to the top of the filter in valve. It filters the water, comes out the out valve, and this is the pure water hose, connects to the water-fed pole. Before we start the job, we always have to remember to remove all the screens properly. That's why we have a screwdriver or a flat object. When we're removing screens, remember always use a screwdriver or a flat object. Never pry it by hand because you can rip the screens. You can use the pull tabs if they are available to you. If they are not, if they're on the inside and you're on the outside, or if they're on the outside, you're on the inside, then you can use a screwdriver, simply like this. Put some leverage on it, and the screen should pop out just like that, right? So I'll show you again. Okay, again, push in this way, and then with the screwdriver, you just get leverage under it, and it pops out like that. If you don't know how to remove a screen, ask your head technician. Now, if you are cleaning the tracks and if you're doing the inside of a home, before you do the outside, always clean the tracks. So you should have one of these and you should have a vacuum. If you don't, the best bet is to get a rag and wipe them out, but I always like to use a track cleaner and a vacuum. Just like that, you got the tracks cleaned. If they're really dirty, they may be subject to an upsell of a deep track clean. Talk to your technician lead if you don't know how to do that. But everyone should at least be cleaning the tracks with a rag, just like this. Give them a little wipe down at least if you're doing the inside and out. So we always include the tracks and the screens on a normal window clean. On to the next. Once the inside windows are cleaned, or if you have someone doing the inside and you're doing the outside, this is how to clean the windows with a water-fed pole. You're gonna make sure the water is turned on, of course. We always use the customer's water. We don't have tanks of pure water. The water is going to come through and out this end shortly, just like that. Also, periodically check the parts per million on the water with a TDS meter. So I will check it right now. This ensures that it basically won't leave any spots or streaks. Right now we are at a 0, which means it's perfectly pure and there's no spots or streaks that are gonna be left on the glass. If you don't know how to do this, ask your technician lead. So once the water is flowing, simply scrub the window from top to bottom, left to right, or right to left. And it's very simple. We're gonna hit the frames. Use medium to firm pressure. Not crazy, you don't have to go like that, but it's also not like that either. You don't want to have it be too light, so firm pressure, scrub back and forth just like this. Once the window is completely scrubbed down, then simply back and forth like this and rinse the glass. It'll be a perfectly clean window once the water all evaporates. All right, I want to show you again, just close up, how to scrub a window with a water-fed pole. I just did this one. I'm going to do it again just to show you. Just get all those frames, right? You don't need to go crazy on the frames. Just make sure that they are nice and scrubbed down, and then you're going to do the glass. Scrub from left to right, right to left, up and down, pretty firm and fast motion is what I like to do. You know, it doesn't have to be like this, right? It doesn't have to be like this, but just firm and swift, back and forth, right? Once you get the whole thing, you rinse it from top to bottom. I like to rinse it starting right at the top of the frame there. Don't go all the way to the top or up there, then it'll rinse dirty water down, but go right to the edge right there, start there and rinse. This is gonna ensure that the window dries completely spot and streak free, and no need to squeegee it, no need to dry it. This is purified deionized water. It's part of our process, part of what makes us an amazing company. So just once it's done, it's good to go. It'll drip dry, it'll evaporate, be completely spot free. All right, I'm gonna show you how to use a squeegee and use the traditional method of how to clean a window instead of using a water-fed pole. To start, almost everyone is gonna use a water-fed pole, but if you wanna grow in this company, I highly recommend getting to know a squeegee, learning how to use the traditional methods. So, you will always need a belt and a bucket on a belt. It looks something like this. I'm gonna strap it around you. This one's my personal one, so it fits me. You're gonna need a T-bar and a scrubber, mop head, whatever you wanna call it. That goes in the bucket on the belt. And then you get your squeegees. I usually have 2 different sizes, depending on the job that I'm doing. And then you get your bucket and soap in the bucket. I usually do 1, 2, 3 squirt. You can be pretty generous. Ooh, overflow there. You can be pretty generous with the amount of soap. I learned from a window cleaner, use a small amount of soap. Honestly, I don't like that. I like a lot of soap. I like to be nice and sudsy. I even sometimes will add a little bead on my scrubber. And then next step, fill up the bucket. I'll show you how to do it. So the next step, fill up the bucket with water. It should look nice and sudsy. Get your mop nice and saturated with water. You don't want it dripping, but you don't want it, you want it fully wet, but not dripping, right? So just like this. And I forgot to mention, always have a detail rag on you. And now here's how to clean windows. When you clean a window with the traditional squeegee method, normally it's because it has more bird spots, or you might be doing the inside. So this is the same process on the inside and the out. The only difference on the inside is you might have to clean the tracks. And then I'll show you the screens, how to clean those after. So you get the squeegee, or you get the mop, and you get it completely wet. You don't need to scrub the frames at all. I never scrub the frames if I'm doing it by hand. I just wipe it with a towel if needed. So that's about all you need to do. Sometimes you could use an abrasive scrub pad like this, just kind of like this, and scrub the entire window. That's not needed though, every time. And then you get your squeegee. I recommend to start always doing straight pulls. So you're gonna just be doing that. Actually detail the top first, just like that. And then do a straight pull with about 3 inches of gap, just like that. Boom. Boom. And that is a perfectly clean window. And then you detail the sides, the corners, just like that, right? All the way around. And you can even wipe this. I always like to keep it as clean as possible. Imagine you're the homeowner, you're coming home, and you see the glass is clean, but the frame, there's a bunch of drips and it's dirty. You don't want that. Just, our goal is to make them happy. So I'll show you another time, just with a different method, the fan technique, right? So normally I just do this and start like this, and there's no detailing on the top necessary to begin, but basically you go like this. This window is really sticky actually, so it's kind of annoying, but you go back and forth. And really, you can ask your head technician for more help on this, and really practice makes perfect. There's no way for me to teach you how to do it perfectly on a video. Get a squeegee in your hand, learn how to do it, and if you learn how to do the fanning technique in this company as a technician, there's good things for you. All right, here's how to clean screens, and I do it one of 3 different ways. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I really just usually look at the screen and see what it needs. So the first way to do it is to just dry clean, or clean it dry with a clean rag, right? So you're gonna get a rag and you're looking at the screen, you're like, ah, it's not that dirty, it's not that filthy, it just kind of needs a little dust down, right? So that's sometimes all it needs, is literally just to knock off the debris and dust. It's like not super dirty, doesn't need water applied to it. Sometimes applying water just makes it almost look worse. So these screens aren't bad at all. You can tell, just not bad. So this one, if I was doing this job, I would just do it dry. For the sake of the video, I'll show you the other way that I like to clean screens is with the mop. And usually this is after I clean all the windows because I don't want to dirty all the mop. So I would just do this, just how I clean, just pretend like I'm mopping a window, right? Boom. And I'll usually give it a little tap, just like that. And that, you could tell, is pretty much all dry. Sometimes I might give it a little smack with a rag, just like that. Boom. Shouldn't take that long to clean a screen. And then the third way to clean a screen is with a screen cleaner. Zero makes good products, and they have a screen cleaner. Essentially, it's like this tall, and you run the screen through like this, and you clean it. Judah has one of those. I might be getting one soon, but I'm holding off on it because I like the old school way. But like I said, no right or wrong way of doing it. Just make sure you eye it down, it looks clean. And at the end of the day, the screens are gonna be back on the windows. People are gonna look through the screens. So you want them clean, but they don't have to necessarily be perfect. I think I already showed you, but I wanna show you again how to reinstall the screen. The springs always go into the deeper slot, usually towards the middle of the 2 panes of glass, if that makes sense. This is the middle, this is the deeper slot. The springs go in this way, and usually the tabs are facing in so that the homeowner can remove the screens from the inside of the house if they want to. But it's very simple. Put them in the slot just like that. I usually get one end and the top, and then I get the bottom and simply just boom, locks into place like that. So before you enter someone's house, always remember to wear shoe covers at all costs, unless it's a construction site or the homeowner really just tells you don't worry about it at all, then that's fine. But our normal protocol is to use shoe covers. Or if you don't have shoe covers, pop your shoes off and just have socks on. Always have socks on. Don't wear shoes with no socks, because you might need to pop your shoes off and come inside someone's home. Just do it out of respect every time. And then when you enter someone's house, if you've already went in the house, just make sure you make yourself known, knock again. Hello, hello, coming in. When you're doing interior window cleaning, please just be extra careful and respectful of everything that's in the home of the homeowner or renter. Just all the furniture, all the beds. Make sure that you don't get beds dirty. You don't stand on the bed with your shoes. Just common sense things. And then I'll show you again, just for good measure. You're going to want to get your mop. Make sure, especially on interior window cleaning, that your mop isn't dripping on the inside of a house. So normally what I do is, if there's a little bit of water in the bottom of your bucket on a belt, I usually just flip it like that so that the part with the most water won't be dripping. And then same process for the inside. I'm going to switch to this side so you can see it better. But basically, same exact thing for interior window cleaning. You might use more of a vertical approach, just like this, for the inside windows. Miss a little part right there on the corner. But always make sure the squeegee itself too is not dripping. So usually I catch the drips with the squeegee, and then I make sure the squeegee is not dripping, because I dapped it off with the mop. Now I can put both of them back into my bucket on a belt. And again, just detail the corners with a clean part of your rag. Make sure it's clean, or else it'll leave, a streak, and it'll just won't detail well. And then just like that, I usually have a clean rag, and then I usually have a kind of like a wipe up dirty rag to detail the tracks or any ledges. Just be mindful. You don't have to go crazy. Just if there's dust and debris on the ledge of the window, just take 2 seconds and wipe it down. And then do the track, of course. You don't have to vacuum all the tracks, like I said before, but it's good to know how to vacuum a track. If your head tech doesn't have a vacuum, then he needs a rebuke. So scrub, just wipe down the tracks. I would clean this one, slide it open. There's a little bit of dust here. Not bad, just enough to where I can use this little rag and wipe it, close it, and that's a clean window on the inside. So we've done the inside, we've done the outside. Now it's time to just check up on the whole job, do some minor detailing and finishing touches. You can walk around, just make sure everything looks good. After the deionized water has evaporated, you can walk around and get some steel wool. This stuff is really important to touch-ups and scrubbing off things like bird spots or other little imperfections on glass. These little spots are not removable. They're permanent damage, but normally you would see some little spots, scrub them down just like this, and go to the next window, take a look around the entire property, and walk around with some steel wool. If it's the second story, don't worry about it. Hopefully it got taken care of with the water-fed pole. Again, if the customer tells you about a second story window that has bird spots, just talk to your head technician about that one. We're getting close to the end, you guys. This step is just reinstalling the screens and breaking down of all the equipment, wrapping up all the equipment. So walk around the entire home, pop in the screens like I showed you before, and then just get all of the hoses and wrap them up properly. This is what not to do, right? There's a giant just bird's nest like this. Don't do that. I'll show you what to do. Basically, you grab the end of it like this, and you can, it takes some practice, but try to wrap it as best as possible, because that will ensure that on the next job, your hose will unravel easily and properly, and you're not going to be tempted to sin and get all frustrated. You're going to be happy with yourself. You're going to be happy that you did it in a neat and professional manner. So see how I'm doing this right now? Someone calling me? Darn it, someone's calling me. So instead of a big bird nest like I showed you before, instead, nice and neat, wrapped up like this. You're gonna wanna do this for all of our equipment as best and as neat as possible. And then I usually wrap these up, these little Velcro straps, but whatever your head technician has, just wrap it up properly and neatly and bring it back to the car or van and put it away. All right, guys, in the second to last step is a walkthrough of the job completed with the customer. So always make sure you have a touch point before you leave the site so we don't get as many callbacks. So always just tell them, this is the work that we've done, everything looks good. Here are the windows that may be broken or damaged. We couldn't clean that because it was a broken seal. Just point that out. Point out things to a customer that they may not be aware of, just so everything you're on the same playing field. And then invite feedback. So just ask them simply, is there anything else that you need us to do before we leave today? That's always a great question, and it always ensures that we've offered 5-star service. So after you do that, after we offered 5-star service and they're super happy, always try to ask them for a review. A Google review link will be sent to them on our app, on our CRM that we have. You can tell them to check the link that was sent to them or will be sent to them. They can leave a Google review. If you're collecting payment, ask them what forms of payment would you like to pay with. We offer credit card, we offer Zelle, Venmo, and check. The only thing we don't offer is cash payments right now. Yeah, just collect payment, ask for that review, thank the customer, and be just friendly and nice. And just as a general rule of thumb, throughout every interaction that you have with them, just be a human. You're not just a technician. We want to be the light of the world on every job site that we're at. And I'm stoked for you to join the team. Let's go clean some windows. All right, guys, next lesson. I just want to go over our uniforms and what we're supposed to be wearing every single time we come to the job. So it looks like having a company shirt on. You will be provided with a Rays Window Washing company shirt. They get a little toasty in the summertime, but hey, they look good. And you can also have a hat. If you don't like hats, no worries. Just make sure your hair is combed nicely. You look good. You want to show up to someone's house and you don't want to look like trash. You want to look good. You want to look excellent. You want to look like you're going to take care of their home. And make sure for your pants, you can either wear Dickies long pants, short pants. They don't have to be Dickies. Just make sure they're not crazy color. I would say either like a khaki short, or you can match with the dark blue. I like to match with the dark blue. I like to have Vans. I think it's a clean look. You can copy me exactly, or you can just make sure you're wearing closed-toe shoes and you're wearing socks. Always wear socks. Always wear closed-toed shoes. And if at all possible, make sure that they're non-slip. I mean, Vans do great on roofs. Just make sure you're not wearing Crocs up on roofs. I used to do that and, almost went to heaven a little bit early. Guys, just remember that appearance matters. You want to show up at someone's house. You want to give them strong first impressions. You don't want them to look at you and think, I don't know if I trust this guy. I don't know if I want this guy on my roof. I don't know if I want this guy in my house next to my kids. You want to show up with a smile on your face, uniform ready, hair nice. Also put on some deodorant. Make sure you're not smelly. And even if you're just doing exterior work, just come on, just be excellent and live like Jesus. If Jesus were in this company, what would he do? WWJD. On to the next lesson. All right, guys, this one is an important one. It's all about ladder safety. First step is just simply to remove the ladder and get it down. Always grab a ladder with 2 hands. Never try to carry a ladder and something else. I mean, once you're walking like this, you can grab a little bucket or something. All right. When you're setting up the ladder, make sure that the ladder is set up correctly. Again, before setting up a ladder and climbing up a ladder, absolutely 100% make sure you get trained in this in person by your technician lead. So make sure that the ladder is facing the right way with the rungs the right direction. If you have it this way, the rungs will be at an angle and that's dangerous. You don't want to do that. So make sure that the ladder is set up properly with both feet securely on the ground, flat. So both feet should be flat on the ground, and then you can extend the ladder. Some ladders are different for each team and each technician lead. So again, please get trained by them personally, but extend the ladder. Lean it against the house. Make sure that it's not damaging the house. Make sure that the ladder goes above the top of the house and is not resting below the house. For example, do not set up a ladder like that. No good. No good at all. Make sure it is at least a foot above the top of the roof or wherever you're climbing up the ladder. So again, make sure those feet are securely on the ground, 2 feet on the ground, 2 rungs on the side of the house. Make sure you always have at least 2 points of contact, if not 3 points of contact at all times, and simply walk up the ladder. Never take your hands off the ladder like this. Just don't do it. And then when you get to the top, you can step off, do your work just like you would, scrubbing solar panels, cleaning a window up on the roof, or whatever you're doing up here. Now, when you get down a ladder, please remember, don't just, after you've done with your work, don't just come back and assume the ladder is ready to go and step on the rung. Do not do that. Make sure you come back, you look at the feet, you adjust the ladder if necessary. Maybe the hose that you were pulled the ladder and now it's like that. So what you would do in that situation, make sure that the ladder is nice and flat and adjacent to the roof. And then at that point, when you've tested the ladder, then you can step down. If you're not sure, please get someone to hold the ladder when you walk down it. If you're not sure if it's a slippery surface or anything like that, make sure someone is holding the ladder before you walk down. Again, always have at least one hand on a rung at all times, just like that. That's how you climb up and down a ladder with safety. I have forgot to mention, make sure that the ladder is at the correct angle. So this is very important as well. If it's not at the right angle, it can slip out. And then when you climb down the ladder, you can fall and you crack your head open, you shatter a glass. Worst case scenario, you go up to heaven early. We don't want that. So just make sure when you stand with your feet, with your toes touching the feet of the ladder, reach your hands out and touch the ladder like this. If you can touch it, it's safe. But for example, if I were to set it up like this and see how it's at a lot more steep of an angle, I reach my hands out and I can't touch it. That means it's not safe to walk up. That means that there's a potential for the feet to slide out. And, if needed, this may be acceptable if someone holds it or if it is dug into the ground. But please advise your technician lead before doing anything like that. Please just stick to the rules and set up a ladder at the proper angle like this. Get your feet right at the edge of it. You can touch it. That means it's safe. All right. No falling off ladders. All right, you guys, on to the next lesson, which is pace of work and efficiency. So I just want to make sure that we all are working effectively, efficiently, swiftly, but not overly fast and sporadic. So for example, this is what not to do if you're carrying a ladder. But also, never run with a ladder. We never run with ladders. This, I want to see this pace of work for our guys and our technicians. This would make me happy. Walking fast, walking like you're getting stuff done. Right? So we're getting stuff done, you guys. We're having a fun time, but we like to work hard. We like to work fast. We're not spazzes, but we're not slow. We want to get stuff done. When we're using a water-fed pole, we're scrubbing it and we're working with efficiency, effectiveness, swift. I like that word swift, but not sporadically fast, right? When you're using a squeegee, you're not, but boom, 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 detailed, excellence and efficiency. Those are the two words that I want to use, and take those, put them in your pocket. On to the next lesson. All right, you guys, the last lesson is simply about communication and walking in love. So of course, this is a job, but it's also a lot about communicating with our team, with your technician lead, and then also with the homeowner, right? And then just walk in love in general. When you show up to the job, you want to make sure that you've spent time with God in the morning. You don't want to have a bad attitude. You don't want to have a bad attitude towards your coworkers, towards the homeowner, and you want to actually be respecting yourself too. So we show up, we're filled up, we're ready for the day. We've spent time with God. We're ready to just work and work unto the Lord, make some money, have fun, and communication. It's so huge. It's so important when you show up to the job. We've already hit on it, but just make sure you connect with the homeowner. Just take a second to pause, pet their dog, compliment their house, simply ask them a question, how you doing? That is sometimes huge, and it's a game changer. They, actually start to interact with you, and eventually, when you actually connect with people, you learn people skills, you learn how to make a person feel comfortable. And even though you're coming to their home, they might feel uncomfortable that we are in their home or around their home. So making them feel comfortable with us being around their home is huge. So asking them questions, showing genuine care. And if you feel led, pray for a person, pray for healing, whatever. But don't go crazy just like with, just laying hands on people, making people feel uncomfortable. Just be led by the Spirit and be the light of the world. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Make sure at the end of the job, everything's done as they expected it to be done. And then ask them this question. I've already said it before, but ask them, is there anything else that we can do before we leave? That question is huge. It ensures that we can get a 5-star review and they want us back. Just make sure you're communicating to your technician lead or whoever you're talking or whoever you're working with. Make sure you said, I got all these windows. Did you get those windows? You did all the inside. All right, make sure, let's take a look around. Make sure it all looks good. Communicate, guys. I can't say it enough. Communication makes this business flow smoothly, effectively, and grows the business. So, hope that makes sense. You guys are amazing. Let's go clean some windows and do it for the glory of God.